How's it going? This is the Estacada Parks and Rec Commission meeting for October. Can we start with the roll call, please?
Here. The nice guys. Present.
Commissioner Shebro,
Here.
Commissioner Sutherland,
Here. Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda from last meeting?
I move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Perfect. Any citizen comments? Anyone online today? Nope. All right. So starting off with the Parks and Rec facility feedback. This was the feedback to the people who came and talked to us last week about the SDCs and the park requirements. I figured today, if you guys want, we can talk about like the SDCs and what we want to see from those today, because hopefully city council can implement that sooner. And then next meeting, we can focus on actual park requirements and stuff like that. Perfect. Okay, cool. So I was thinking if we want, we could, if we want to put together a list and then I could shoot off an email to, because they emailed us, I think it was like a week ago. And then we can just give them like a bullet point, like these are what we would like to see from the SDCs. And then see what they come up with, and then we can get their feedback, stuff like that.
Sure.
Cool. Did anyone want to start with things they saw online, the specific things they would like to see from the SDCs?
The pathways being cemented so the wheelchairs can go in the new park. That's the biggest complaint that we have, like at the concerts with people in wheelchairs and stuff. It's all gravelled.
They mean,
Pathways.
don't you mean like what we're gonna require of the,
So this would be what we're gonna require the planners to charge to be put aside
Yeah.
for what I would like to, because they have 3 different buckets of money you could put the money aside for. It's most of them don't do park maintenance. Most of them are like expenditures of the parks we have already within the city. And then they can also set aside some for administration costs. So if we were going to have new developments come into the city, we would, because they charge SDCs for the water treatment, sewer, that type of thing, right? So we would also want them to hopefully include something for parks, so they would set aside a portion of the money they get from the developers to be used to expand the parks within the city.
I think we expand the parks when the stuff in the parks that are already here that need to be done. Like Gardner needs shade.
well, I know, but we have to decide though, like what we want. Like that is like a separate issue. We have to decide what we want to put in there that new developers have to pay. So we're getting like something for our parks,
Yeah.
is what he's saying.
Because the repair and maintenance is technically already supposed to be done by the city within the budget they already have. Whether that's true or not is debatable, but like the new money that's coming into the city would hopefully be set aside for new projects within the
Okay.
city limits, so that we have a certain amount of park space to housing development space.
And like the examples were like this much for this many houses, or this much per this many square feet, or like if there are some different ones, like amount of people, amount of houses, amount of. I forget what the other example, there was another way that they did it and I can't remember what that is off the top of my head.
When we're saying SDCs, are you talking, I always think of SDCs as just fees. Are we talking about just fees or policy around land, reserving land as well?
So because hopefully what we should be able to do is tell them for the developments that are currently in progress, you can't go back in the past and then tell them, hey, you have to set aside 10% of land in that
Right,
development,
okay.
right? But we can go back and say, hey, you have to charge these SDCs so that we can still get the money to be used for future park. Like if we wanted to do like a sports complex, we could get money
Right.
from those developments and put it towards a sports complex for the entire city type thing.
Mhm.
So, and that would hopefully be easier for city council to approve. Like if they just strictly did the SDCs first, got it through, can get it on the developments that are already happening. And then when they have time probably in the new year, then we could have them pass some policy saying, we want X amount of land set aside for parks within those new developments.
Okay.
So-
So what we're trying to figure out right now is what was how we want to direct. How we want to slap our microphones, how we want to direct those SDCs.
Yeah, like, we don't have to say like, we want this much percent like put toward, like, we don't need to come up with like actual like policy, just like bullet point, like, if we were to have SDCs from the new developments, we would like it. Like the one, like, for example, the ones I saw is they broke out what the fees they collected were used for. They had like,
Right.
in the city of West Lynn, 90% of what they collected was for expenditure. 10% of what they collected was for administration, and none of the fees were for repairs and maintenance of current parks. Because,
Right.
like I said, the city should, so like, that's something, you know, whether or not a portion of it should be set aside for the workers to go actually do the work, you know, that's debatable, right?
Yeah, yeah, like it would accessibility upgrades be like an example of that?
Not within the parks, they have some cities do it where they can use the funds on current parks.
Mhm.
But it seems like from most of what I've read through online, the money is supposed to be used to create new parks within
Okay.
the city.
Right.
Cause there's,
Comes from, like new houses, so it has to be
Right, gotcha.
more
yeah,
resources
Okay.
for those new people.
cause they
Yeah.
do have some like state legislation they have to follow, and in the wording of some of that is, it's that it should be used for like development and acquisition of parks within the city, not like they said, repairs and maintenance of parks
Right.
that already exist within the city.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we definitely have a lot of things that we've been wanting to do to expand, so if the funds were there, you know, for. I know there's so much debate on where these things are gonna go, but
Mhm.
things like splash pad, pickleball, universal access park, a playground, stuff like that. Regardless of where we put those, or it would make sense to use SDCs to build those things wherever we end up putting them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so. Like what was? So it's fine. It's like the city can be, right? They have different, like, and again, we don't probably have to think about like single housing versus multiple housing. They have different charges versus.
Right.
But what I would hopefully like to see is they do it for, like, some cities, they only do the SDCs for people's housing, right? But some cities also do it on business development, like the new industrial area that's going in. They pay less of a fee, but would we also like to see a fee go on to those businesses or that
Right.
kind of development as well?
Yeah,
Like, do we want to see that type of, do we want pretty much every new property to get hit with these SDCs? So parks get set aside a certain portion of money, and then we can leave the amount of money and all that stuff. We leave that up to city council.
Mhm.
You know, that, you know, and it's whether like, and like I said, I would like to see it where they had it like stringent, where they had to use the money for new parks. They have to use it like an adequate amount of time. They can't like just sit on the money for years and, you know, shuffle, you know, you want to make sure it's like solidified that it's specifically for the parks. And they
Right.
can't, you know, shuffle the money around, that type of thing.
okay, yeah. That makes sense. I mean, if you're going to occupy land, if land is going to be used for something other than like public, you know, the passage and recreation, then it makes sense that no matter what goes there, would pay SDCs to ensure that all over the place, we have at least something that is being set aside
Yeah.
for the public.
Adequate money.
Yeah. Cool.
So do we have to come up with what percentage we want going where? Is that what you were saying?
No, I think really they would, for like their purpose, I think we just give them bullet point like,
More like we would like money to go towards a future sports complex
Yeah,
and
okay.
an accessibility, like a playground for
Accessible
all.
playground.
And the best
Or-
place for the sports complex is the old mill property. Cause it's got, I mean, it's big enough,
Big
you
and
have
flat.
lots of parking, everything.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's more like So if I was gonna like say like what we want, like hopefully I think we would want is we want the money set aside specifically for acquiring land for new parks
Mhm.
or, you know, development of new parks within the community.
Right.
We would like the money to be used in a timely manner, like we don't want it sitting around for 5-10 years before it gets put into use. We would hopefully have it, you know, get going on projects sooner than later. Especially if they're doing all this like more building now than later, like that's something they could put like right into it, like timely use of the money.
Does engineering get like and surveying and all that stuff? Does that get encapsulated in any of these categories we're talking about, or is that something that we should call out specifically?
No, I think the only categories they really had was that I saw, most of them just specifically said it was for okay, like in the city campus says like the fee cannot be used for normal operation maintenance or personal costs. It must be used for capital improvements towards the parks and within the city. So it has to be towards the capital expenditures of park, which would include,
Right.
you know, the surveying, the grading, the building, that all of that would be the capital expenditure for the city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they like specifically spell it out like, oh, we want this fee to be used for that specific purpose.
Right.
You know, yeah, so like they have like that type of thing. Like they had the one they put was the fees must be encumbered and expended within a reasonable time frame to help ensure the needed improvements are implemented.
Mhm.
They have theirs done. Theirs is they do the number of units in the complex times the land equates to like how much land they set aside. But they also have calculations for
businesses as well.
Businesses as well. If they use like X amount of land, then they want this amount of money set aside for the park system, that type of thing. And again, that could be whether the planners come up with that calculation or so, you know, that it's just more of we want to make sure the money set aside, we want to make sure it's used for parks and they only had a few exceptions like for like senior like living stuff and that type of thing where they didn't require those SDCs. So that would probably be more of a city council thing, whether, you know, we get to like recommend like, no, we want it for everybody. So like everyone pays their fair share into the city, you know, whether or not that's how it gets written, stuff like that. It's just more, we're just recommending like, this is what we would like to see.
For all the new homes, right?
All the new
Yes.
homes, yeah,
Well, and
yeah.
we already have
Yeah.
park SDCs that we get,
Mhm.
but what I thought we were talking about was increasing it, which was why we needed to talk about it, correct? Am
I
I
don't think we get,
wrong?
we're not listed at all, whether or not
Or not?
we get charged. I don't think,
Surcharge.
Yeah,
Every new home that's built.
yes, yes.
I don't know that exact number off the top of my head, but
Because they were saying like if we approve it, because that was a question I asked last time, is like if not we, but like city council says like it's gonna increase. And they say that today,
Mhm.
like a new home, even if they already have the land that's built tomorrow, has to pay that increase, which was part of the reason of like getting it rolling, right? Am I right? Okay.
got it.
So, and I have no idea like how much control we have over that, but I know that we already have park SDCs. I thought that we were also talking about if we were gonna put something in there about if there's this many homes being built, then we want like a park to be built in the neighborhood. Like that's what we needed, right? The rules about like, cause right now it says we recommend,
Mhm.
but we need to change it to say like there is park space, or if there's not usable parkland that they pay X amount of money, like there were some different calculations.
I think that's the language they're putting in the beginning of the year.
That's what I was saying. I think they would do it hopefully separately. They could do the SDCs now. And then because they're not gonna get to the land use at all pretty much till the next year,
Well,
right?
she said all of that was after the first of the year, but we just need to like let them know so it's ready, right?
yeah, I think they want to bring it to council meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, we can talk about both. Yeah,
Okay.
I was gonna say, my only thing was that if we do the recommendations for the increase on the SDCs now, hopefully it would get it like done now.
Yeah.
And then next meeting we could talk about like the land use stuff. But either way, it doesn't bother me.
I don't know if that-
Yeah.
I thought-
Is that gonna include having the park set before the people buy the property, so they know there's a park there?
That would be one of the recommendations. We would like to have personally, I think it would be a good idea that the developer, it was on the developers to make sure, like, they have to build the park as they're building the
Well,
complex.
they, like in Campanellas, that was there, but they only built a
That
certain
little
part,
part,
and left the other
mhm.
10 acres for us, but
Yeah.
when the people came in there, they didn't realize that. so
Yeah.
it was a Big mess.
Yeah, and certain cities have different things. Like, we could say we would like to see like a fully equipped park done with the development.
Yeah, I think there was a city where there was talking about where their thing is to have the park built before the homes. I don't really think that's practical in most cases, but at least something that like whatever we can do to like signify that like land's being set aside for a park,
Mhm.
that this will be a park and people know in advance
Yeah.
it's a park.
Spaces.
Well, and it's still a real estate agent is gonna say what they're gonna say.
Yeah.
But, what do you need from us right now, Vincent? I feel like we're spiraling and I wanna give you the information that you need. I don't wanna be efficient. Sorry.
No, it's all good. No, I think, like I said, I think, if we, after this meeting, if I had a list to be like, this is, this is the increases we'd like to see from the SECs, and this is how we would like the money spent. Like the policy for like that money to be spent for the park system, then we could send them that list, and then next meeting, we'd say like, oh, we would like to see X amount of land set aside, and that's, we'd like to set the
Okay.
land use aside for next meeting. and
Okay.
Strictly just give them the stuff about the SECs this go around.
Like what we want it used for.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Got it. I think the sports complex thing is we have so many sports and so many activities and so many fields that are
Not enough space.
not enough space.
Yeah.
It's like, we have to end our practice so this practice can begin.
Yeah, and having to rely on like school fields and stuff like that can be tricky when
Yeah.
school's in session. And
Yeah, a lot of people can't use the fields because they're locked to the public, and
yeah,
Yes, during the
Yeah.
school day.
most of the time, like older people want to get out and do it's probably during the day when it's not, at night and stuff like that.
can only do track workouts on the weekend. Come on.
And then,
Yeah.
like,
Timber Park's got 2 or 3 of them going at a time. You can't figure which soccer players playing where.
Yeah,
like, maybe like park. Parks don't just have to be, obviously like playgrounds and like structure, but
Mhm.
also like pathways and things for adults too. I don't know exactly how to word that. Instead of just saying like playgrounds, but like, and sports facilities, but.
Like when we got the money from
Can't
the
think of
Oregon
the word.
State Parks, the lottery people, we had to have toddlers, we had to have teenagers, we had to have adults, actions.
hmm
What about like multi-use outdoor recreational
Yeah.
areas?
That would be
I
good.
feel like that includes a lot of things,
Right.
right? Okay.
What if some of it's indoors though?
Cause you're not talking like greenways, like between, like in the city, like that type of thing.
I don't know, I mean. Path, like, that
Is
could
that,
be.
that's what
part of it
the, like
too,
the active,
that's-
active transportation
Yeah,
is, and yeah, and it seems, and that's one of those things where it seems like the lines get a little blurry there between like the transportation side.
Mhm.
Because when you're doing like active transportation and shared use, it's like, it kind of gets into our purview.
Yeah,
Especially if we want to do something like take an unused hill and put in like a very small like mountain bike, trails, which you really want to do.
Yeah, they've been wanting that for a long time.
Yeah,
That'd be another use over there.
we've got a steep hill over there that is going to go unused, and all you have to do is cut some trails into it, come back in.
yeah,
Can I make a suggestion?
yeah. go ahead.
I'm not gonna tell you guys what to do, but I think if you look at the, that email that was sent out with the city of Canby and their SDCs and how it's laid out in the 17 pages. I think if you guys really just kind of look at that and maybe use a couple of other cities to springboard off of, it will really give you an idea, to formulate your thoughts as to what the city of Estacade is kind of looking for as to how you guys want to structure the SDCs, because they have it City of Canby did a really good job of breaking down, percentages they wanted to see of land use, like if a development went in, they're like, okay, we want you to, we want to use 3% or 10% of this many homes, and we want to dedicate that space to parks, or we want to dedicate it to this. So they've got it really, Canby did a good job of putting their little formula out, and they also have, options for developers to do an in lieu instead of SDC, and just some things like that. But that way you guys aren't, kind of just spinning your wheels about, what you'd like to see. You can have a more like specific direction as to in a broad scope of what can go into the city of Estacada, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and like,
And that way you guys can come back next, like really just kind of dive into a couple of those other cities, and you can come back and say, oh, I really liked this right here. Like, I think that makes sense for our city. Obviously Canby's bigger. They've got
Yeah.
like,
Not much.
18,000 people. We have a little over 5. So, I mean, but we're growing, so we have to, and they also have, I like that they put in future
Mhm.
growth too. They have a plan for that as well. So just something to think about, but,
yeah, the main takeaways I got from theirs was the fact they had the money set aside very specific purposes. They very specifically called out like, oh, single families get hit with this much, multis get hit with this much, manufacturers are also included in that. And they actually had the fees are adjusted annually to reflect the inflation of construction costs, so they stay current with the actual construction fees at the time of building. So as new developments come into the future, then they would get charged slightly more, or maybe even if prices ever created for some reason, they get charged on how much the building costs at that time, and that keeps it more so new houses get hit with just as much as it was for older houses. They don't get like almost like a discount for inflation, right?
Mhm.
So the city still gets a decent amount of money for brand new developments. So like they do have I was like, that's why I saw that one and I sent it out to everyone,
it's a good one.
because their plan was pretty laid out. That was some of the main takeaways I got from theirs, and I think we would like to see within like our policy.
All right, so it sounds like we have a little bit of homework to do, and then we have times like next meeting, we could actually get in details, or do we need this now?
When is our next meeting? Like, are we meeting in November or December? Would be my question. If we're like, oh, we'll do this next meeting, but regularly we haven't met in November, December, because this
Oh,
falls on the
nice.
holidays.
Oh, I guess. I thought-
I'm
Fuck
not
you
opposed to
guys.
meeting, just
Yeah.
that's true, how it's been the last several years, and so like, oh, we'll put it up to the next meeting, and it's January, it's a bit
Right,
late.
we could do this over email and then just do the thing where we email the cities, make sure that like the conversation happens.
Taryn, is our
Okay.
meeting supposed to be the 22nd or the 29th? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 22nd. I will not be here. If you want to have a meeting, it's the day before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's more up to if you guys want me, either way, it doesn't bother me. I was like I said, hopefully would like to get that, like just I said, the SDC stuff squared away, and then like the land use stuff, that can be set aside for the beginning of next year. I'm not too worried about that. It was more of making sure, like, I don't know how fast they're gonna get those developments up over winter.
But just because, yeah.
building is
because
slower
As soon
than
as they're
anything.
done, then we can charge them, then we can get the money for it for the parks.
Yeah.
Makes total sense.
All right, so yeah, maybe let's just collect our thoughts over and then keep this happening over email so it gets done more quickly.
Yeah, that'd be good. And would it be possible to see what we get charged the SDCs now, just so we can compare them against the rest of
That's what I was gonna
Clackamas
ask.
County? Cool.
Thank you, Taryn. That's what I was gonna ask too.
Yeah, the one city or Canby had a good one. I think Lake Oswego or West Lynn had a pretty decent outline for their plan. And the other good one was, I think Happy Valley had a pretty decent outline, kind of like Canby's too. So those were all pretty decent ones to look at. Obviously, it was, as you know, get more towards like the Westland, theirs was a bit higher than,
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
well, I'm sure what we would be charging, but. But yeah, even Canby's fell like right in the middle, so, okay, all right. So yeah, if we wanna look at that, take a look around, see if you guys like anything from specific jurisdictions, and then, like I said, we'll put together an email, or maybe we'll try to invite back, the planning people, and we have a sit down with them and just talk about it all at one meeting and get it squared away, if possible. 65? Oh, really? Huh. It's actually on the higher side already.
So. that is very-
Mhm.
Per home.
And there's nothing about, we don't do anything about like the business ones or anything like that. So, just residential.
Okay.
Okay, so that could be potentially something to look at whether or not we would want to see it on the commercial side, and then like I said, that's a rating actually on the higher side for the county. Most like Canby's was like 54 for a single housing, 5,400, and so
Mhm.
you know, whether, like I said, we could try to peg something towards like construction costs and that type of thing for a slight increase, and then it's just whatever policies we would like to see go for them going forward. But yeah, if you guys want to look at it, and then
Yeah.
we'll meet back on that stuff. Perfect. Cool. And then, all right, Quest Cicada update.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and share my screen. The three oh, hold on. I gotta do this thing. Well, while I'm doing this real quick. Let's say after multiple, I've done like 3 rewrites
Mhm.
from ground up on this whole thing. Part of this too is that I have to restart Zoom real quick, so I'm doing that so I can share my screen. Part of developing this, other than the fact that I wanted to do it, was having a chance to just work on like really modern web development techniques and stuff like that. So where did the link go? So I had a few times where I was working on it and getting a whole system set up. And then would find that like what I was making was going to cost a whole lot of money. And so I had to redo it, and I finally came up with something that I think works well, will be easy to maintain, and doesn't cost anything to run. And I don't know where my Zoom link went. There you go. Okay, there we go. Okay, here we go. This is Quest Cicada. Keeping it very simple, using just a lot of code and text to do everything, which also keeps the cost really low, by the way. It is I don't know if this is gonna reflect it. It works well. If you're on a phone, it's gonna look like this. Basically, it's pretty simple. You come to the site. If you're not signed in, there's gonna be a little link where a little form, you put in your email address. Whether you're signing in for the first time or coming back, you put in your email address and you'll get an email and it has a link and that's it. There's no passwords, anything like that. I didn't do text because that costs money. But yeah, the idea is that you've got, make sure we can see the top over there. You have these overarching categories. So, my favorite is run, of course. And inside of here, you've got different sections. Each main category has a different section. Each one is full of missions. And they tell you what they are, and you get there's a little trophy count that you get for each mission that you do. And the difference between this and a site that just tells you about stuff to do around Estacada is that this kind of gamifies it, and there's actually like a call to action here. So if you just go out on the high school track and do a lap, like I can go to log this mission. You have the option of putting in a URL or just a little note about it for your own log. So I'll say, trust me, I did it. And like put the date in, whatever. Let's say that I did it today. It's gray now. And if I go up here, you'll see that I've got a trophy now. If I look at my trophy case. And notice that everything is shareable, like anything that you do on this site. It's like whether you're on your phone or whatever, shareable, everything links back. For any mission, there's actually there's already a URL shortener in there. So if you do QR codes, I could put like a little URL that's just like the name of it next to questacada.com. There's a leaderboard, which I think this is kind of one of the big things, is that as people use it, whoever, there's a leaderboard that's going to fill up. I think I limit the display to like 50 or something like that. But this is my son who's already started doing this. And so he can share if he goes to share his trophy case, you can go in here and see all the things that he's done already. So mostly like geocaching, we went mushroom hunting, and did some kayaking and stuff, or paddleboarding and kayaking actually. And that's the gist of it. And I try to mix it up so that it's not just athletic. There's some of it, like if you go to like Forge, it's really just about like going out and try to find these things. I'm working on the collect section. There's a rock thing. I made a bird bingo. There's the game, and there's the full card, and there's a PDF you can get that has like birds that you'll find around here. Every single one of these has something in it right now. So it's I'm still filling it in a little bit, but like, if you go to like the park section, you have like a floor is lava challenge, which is like you use the rock wall or the playground at Wade Creek Park, and you have to go do a lap around it without touching the ground. Disc golf, and it's the idea is to make sure there's something for everyone, and not everybody is going to be able to do everything. I think a lot of people who are going to be really good at some of the athletic stuff probably will not find the time to do the non-athletic ones. And anything that can be adapted, I try to frame these in a way where if you have to do these in an adapted way, then it's like it's fine, go for it. I've got some information. There's a FAQ in here that answers those questions. Part of it covers adaptability. I have a real disclaimer and release of liability, so that if people go out and the part of it, I need to figure out one thing about this, which is that, because this is legit, and if you use the site after reading this, it means that you have agreed. So I might have to do a thing where I use cookies to see like the first time you visit, I show it to you. Because if you close that, it's like technically you have now agreed to the release of liability.
Like we download new programs, like, accept the terms and conditions.
Yeah, exactly. And all the other stuff that's in here about like that you need to have on a website, privacy policy, cookie information, stuff like that. Yeah, and I try to really limit the user generated content, so that, when you go to log something, it's like you can put a URL in for something, but I had a system in there where you could upload images and stuff like that. And then it was just like, as I started doing the legal part of it, I was like, we're not doing age checks on here, and that's fine as long as you don't have any like personal identifiable information, and you have to be very careful about what people can contribute to it.
Mhm.
So images are out. Yeah, so I was like, hey, that's it, just makes my life easier. So you can write some info in. It's all on our system. If someone wants to come in and lie about everything, someone else can tattle on them, and it'll be like, this is obviously fake, and delete them. No, but really it's supposed to be just fun, really low barrier to get in, just like, I wanna, once you're in here, it's easy to get around and you can pick things out that you want to do. But I want to have some stuff where it's just like, if you're down at Timber Park, I think they have like a billboard type thing, and it's just like, if you have a QR code there, have these little mission hubs
Mhm.
or places where, if there are like multiple missions, or do like a little sneaky QR code type thing. If there's a spot where it's just like, you can do this mission right now. And then it's like, you can log it by just going to, once you're there, it's like, put in an email address and then open up the link in your email, and now you can just log it right then and there. And now you're in the system and you're on the leaderboard and stuff. So yeah, that's about it. Just easy and fun. Next steps are filling out content a little bit more. Had a localization system written, and I'm not going to do that now because I'm just going to use a translation plugin so that you can choose any language and it'll just translate the content for you. So instead of before, it's going to be like, try to translate this also Spanish, and it's like, well, actually, I can have it just translate whatever language you speak. So I need to add area tags to this, which is basically accessibility. So covers all sorts of like whether you're sight impaired or hearing impaired, we'll cover all that. And then I wanted to add also a badge system. So it's like, let's say that you came in here and you did the entire forage category, or you went to explore and you finished out, you went out and did all these geocaches. If you finish a section, I want to add like it's like a badge thing. So it's like you get the geocaching badge. And so it's like it's like the trophies, but it's just one more layer, and it's another incentive to actually like dive into one of these activities.
Nice.
Yeah, and other than that, I think it's really as far as how this ties back to Parks and Rec. Right now, there's nothing in here that says why this exists or who makes it or anything like that. And if we, I guess all I would be seeking is like the blessing to say like, this is brought to you by City of Estacada Parks and Rec.
Yeah, I don't think the city doesn't have any problem with that, right?
That was good.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, and and I'm serving this in a way where it's like I'm using I'm in the freeze here on like my API service, and on the front end I have this like CDN that I'm using through Amazon that's also inside of the freeze here, because if we're not getting, even the email service is free as long as I'm not sending more than 50,000 emails a month. And even if I sent like 200,000 emails a month, it's like $3, so it's like, other than the domain name, I managed to serve this whole thing for free.
Nice.
So yeah.
Do you need to come up with does it have can you like restrict like inappropriate usernames?
Or is it by their email?
I have a thing in here.
It show up.
Yeah, where someone on the leaderboard is obviously cheating, has an offensive trophy case name, or links out to spammy or inappropriate content. What can I do about it? And then just email me. This is a real email, help@questacada.com. It'll show up on my phone. It's very easy for me to go in and kick someone out,
Got
or
it.
rename them, stuff like that. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Looks great.
yeah, and stuff. And then and it works on desktop, and then if you're on your phone, like it's totally adapts to it. So I try to make it so it always has a nice layout. And if you're on your phone, I don't know if it'll fit all out here, but for most phones, you come in and the entire site fits on your screen.
Mhm.
Like the top to bottom, it's just like a single page application, which is nice. So try to make it work on all platforms.
Nice.
And that's that. So I want to soft launch this at the Trick or Trot, and I'm gonna make a Trick or Trot QR code that we can put on the desk, and then, because that's one of the missions actually is. Oh yeah, and even on the athletic ones, I try to do things where it's like have a social thing. So it's like it's not doing anything faster or anything big or any specific route. It's just like run with other people and you get rewarded for like turning into a social activity. But yeah, I do have local races. So there's R2 and then the best day to
Fun.
run. That's all we have.
I would say, if you do the QR code for the trick or trot,
Yeah,
I learned, the papers, even if it's not raining,
yeah,
laminate it. I laminated the QR code for like the shirts for the,
yeah.
run we had. Because even when it's not raining, they all just start to like,
Oh,
Oh, no.
don't think that I
That's-
don't have a laminator and like this much laminate at home.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I definitely.
because, yeah,
For the soft launch, as I go in, I'm gonna make a few QR codes and put them in places I'm allowed
That's
to.
fine.
It will all be laminated.
Yeah.
Nice.
Especially right now.
yes.
Alright,
Great. That looks awesome.
thanks.
Sweet. Cool. Trick or Trot?
Right. Everything is in my car to give to Kalika today. There's a sticky note out there that says, I think I completed like 110 bags or something, just so they're done. And then I have all the extras like bags and the stuff that goes in them in case. Clipboards already have the, liability waiver, and then Taryn gave me the Spanish ones today, so I'll put those on a clipboard too. And then the way it works, I have out there too, the laminated signs that say like, turn in your waiver to get your bag. And that way we can check that off. All the medals are ready to go. I was gonna ask Taryn, will you post it again tomorrow about the trick or trot on Facebook? And then put about Christie's on there too, because the other thing is, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to be there at all now, because my husband is working this weekend and they moved the soccer. They didn't move, but the soccer awards are at the exact same time as the trick or trot, which I think is going to affect our participation quite a bit. Because those active families are gonna be at the high school at exactly the same time, and it's
Oh,
the younger ones.
Yes, but not only that, but the high school boys have a playoff game on Saturday at 4 as well, so I'll have to leave early.
Okay, yeah,
'cause my son's playing varsity.
so Haley has a game, which is why I couldn't help set up, and then Aubrey's awards start at 3. And my husband is more than likely working until at least 5. So if not, I will be there. We already planned like he would go and take them and I'll go to the trick or trot and come over, like just run over to the high school once I'm done. But as of right now, I'm a single mom for the weekend, so I have to do that. But like literally everything is ready to go. I have like the crate paper for the finish line. I got candy at Costco, which I need somebody to sign for so I can get the money back. I didn't put it in the bags because like we talked, I thought like just as you give them a bag, just put a couple candies in and go. That way we don't have to undo them. I have all the signs like to turn in the waivers. I already said that. I have the pens and the clipboards and
Do we have Frankenstein?
so were you not here for the conversation about it? Frank died because
okay.
kids kept touching him. In fact, I pulled out of the trick or trot stuff, the box, the signs that said, please don't touch Frank. Because he got some really big holes in him because people wouldn't keep their hands off of.
But we
Yeah.
have a new arch.
Did you get a new
I
one?
did get a new arch.
Oh, that's cool. I've seen that one. That's fun.
So it's like a tree or. But
It's-
yeah, I got a new one from, it got delivered the other day, so we'll have a new one for,
Yes, there you
Yeah.
go.
Maybe it needs a sign that mine specifically say don't touch Frank, or I would give them to you
just for the end of
That's
that.
cute.
Yeah.
for them to run under. Don't touch.
That's a banner to touch it.
Well, they got put there year 2 after year 1. when people, yes, were very unkind to him. What else?
The only thing I was gonna say, Taryn, would it be possible to have potentially a city worker drop off like a trash can or two, just in case we do have a lot of people eating food, just so they have a place to throw away their trash?
We have some in the park.
There is, but not. On Saturday, on Saturday.
Well, they can drop it off, or they just put them there on Friday. At least
What if-
they just put one like an extra one next to
Well,
the bathrooms.
what about back in, the door in the back that locks where we like get the electricity from?
Yeah,
Like that room, there's a room on the back of the bathrooms. They could put it in there. We usually get that
Yeah, well,
from
yeah,
you guys,
yeah, I'll do the key.
Yeah,
but that way it wouldn't disappear or blow away. And then if they knew that it was there, we could, like, it could even be put, I say we, if I'm there, we can put it back in there too, and they could come get it on Monday. That's kind of gross.
Well, I can get the canopies and stuff today. The chairs, yeah, I brought my other car, so I can pick up the canopies and all that today, the tables, and then if possible, I could go get the chairs from the fire station. I was like, if for some reason we can't have, just if you want to throw in the reminder, just tell people like, oh, bring picnic blankets or something, because it should be pretty dry. If they want to just like throw a blanket down and sit on the grass too. As long as we have a place to throw away the trash, that then it should be. Oh, yeah, I can come by tomorrow. That's cool. Yeah, tomorrow, Friday, I can come by whenever.
They're frozen.
Oh, that's right. I'll come by tomorrow. Yeah, all good. Okay, I'll come by after work tomorrow. Can we just close tomorrow? Okay, I'll be here before 5. Might be close, but it'll be before 5.
Mhm. I'll figure it out.
I should be able to be here by like 4:40.
I mean, I could come by too if needed.
Okay, yeah.
I should be able to make it, but I live right there. And I work at home, so.
Yeah, now I do Monday, Wednesday, Friday from the house. And so Tuesday, Thursday, I'm at Fairview. So, yeah.
I think that's everything.
The
I'll
other
show
thing-
you in the parking lot, like. What's what, like, it's pretty obvious, like these 2 bags are completed bags, and then there's a bag that has the medals and just like extra stuff if there ends up being that many kids. But I really think that the participation's being hit kind of hard because that got planned at exactly the same time.
It's
Which
about
is
like
really
a-
Weekends,
unfortunate.
we had 4 things going at once here in town.
Well,
Good weather though.
I think it sounds
Yeah.
like good weather, so.
yes,
What time do we need to be there for setup?
I was gonna show up at like, I told Christie's to be there like 1:15. She needed a little bit extra time, so she's gonna be there like 1:15. So I was gonna get there like right around the same time and start setting up, which is plenty of time.
On Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah. What time? What, over at Campanellis?
Kevin, yep.
Mhm. And then do you have are you getting the cones to block off the
Yeah,
parking
I was
lot?
gonna go.
Okay,
too.
and that was the
That's a
only
good
other
purchase.
thing that I didn't put in my bag is that last time I brought all that sidewalk chalk.
Yeah, I was gonna pick some up too.
Oh, you're gonna get some, or you have
Oh,
some?
yes, we
Okay,
have some.
'cause-
I'll bring it. It's been sitting on my porch and my children.
perfect, cause that
Yeah.
was the one
Yeah.
thing that I,
Yeah, I'll bring that. I have a brand new box of like 20 or something.
Yeah, 3.
I think we used 3 before
Yeah.
and it blocked it well enough.
And I have all the flags.
Perfect.
Of course, marking.
Cool. Great. Yeah, I'll bring a couple extension cords for the arch and then,
Mhm.
yeah, there's should be everything. Cool. Nice.
Anyway, I apologize
Oh,
because
good.
this is my thing, but I can't. Yeah, I just can't,
Okay.
because there's only one of me. And my husband was gonna do that and there's only one.
All
Yeah.
good.
Are we usually there for like an hour? Like by the time we get everyone started and they
It
run and
doesn't
they're
even
done.
take that long.
I think it might be a little bit long because we were gonna split the two groups this go. So, yeah.
Staggered, like 3 groups.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
That should
yeah,
work.
it's pretty quick.
Breakdown
It
doesn't
takes
take that
them,
long.
yeah,
Yeah,
it takes them just,
Yeah, I think the last people coming across would be at like, it's at a 2 or 3, or
it's at 3.
so like
It's-
3:30.
Yeah, I think by 3:30, everyone. will
And then
be
it's,
done.
yeah, it takes like 15 minutes, 20 minutes to totally wrap up.
yeah, so if people wanna hang out for a bit and eat and,
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, if not,
yeah, so it might be,
Yeah.
we might hang out for a little bit longer, but. Yeah. All good. Were any of is the library or any of them?
The library was hoping they could come and they cannot, but Orchid Health, right?
mhm.
They will, Orchid Health is gonna be there and
Cool.
they like are bringing like their little prizes and stuff. Let me look and see who the name of the person is. Yeah, the library just, they don't have enough, it helps if I spell it right. Yeah, they don't have enough employees. They were hoping by then they would. But they do not. They even purposely did not schedule
Yeah.
something on that day to help. Megan is the person that will be there from Orchid Health.
Yeah, next year we'll have to try to get the people out of it sooner than, everyone was busy this year. It's crazy.
Well, and the thing is, like, we made it at 3, so soccer would be done, which like it's just barely like for their age, their game is at 1:30, so they're done at 2:30, but then they made the soccer banquet for the littles start at 3.
Yeah. I know.
I got that email. Like, thank you so much. And it's my whole day because I have 2 that are both in the different age groups.
Yeah, well, my son, he plays varsity, but he coaches the
Coaches the
little tiny
littles.
guys, and then
Mhm.
he's repping 2 of the older games.
Yeah, so
Sure,
he'll be at the young
He's
game.
doing all of it, and then to the soccer party at the end, and then play. I'm like,
Yeah.
Okay.
He has a busy day.
Perfect. Cool. That's everything for that.
Check.
And then the candy cane hunt. I was hoping to use new parks this year, so I'll take a look at the list of parks. And then we just need whatever phrase we want to put on the back of it, and then I can do the parks and the clues.
And we can,
Park would be good.
Which one?
Portal.
The portal. Yeah, I was thinking I was gonna try to use a few of
Lots of
the.
rocks and trees and what.
Yeah, I was gonna try to use a couple different parks this year because I think we've been using the same ones for the past.
yeah, as long as we keep an eye on the portal, because even like the one in my neighborhood had a little issue the first year.
Yeah, I think last year it just got blown away in that windstorm,
Yeah.
but.
Because the other ones we see, it's easier for us to check on, but that one's over there.
Yeah, me and my wife, we did rounds. We'd like
Yeah.
periodically, like once a week, we'd
Yeah.
go check, because we check on the one by your house.
Yeah.
Check on the one that's in the little,
Center.
the middle, that little park that's in the middle of all the houses. And then we'd always check on the Veterans Memorial one, because that one's pretty easy to,
Yeah.
Mhm.
you don't know. Yeah, but yeah, other than that, none of them disappeared last year, so. Yeah, that shouldn't be too bad. We just need to see,
Can-
if we want to do the gift cards again this year.
Do you know if we have gift cards left from last year?
I think the first year was that they had little cards and if they completed it, I would just give them one, but they weren't like real big cards. I don't know how Brent did that, or if the local card has them. So I only handed them out and then gave them back to them.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So
That's
I
right, we
think
did boba last year instead
there
of
was
your
20
treats.
cards.
So how did the boba things work?
It was a $5 off, right?
Oh, they had little coupons.
Yeah.
Or $5 free. I think it was a free drink. I think you're right. And the year before we did $5 Yo treats.
Oh, okay. Got it. Oh. Well, I could ask either the boba guy or the froyo people, whoever wants to, if they want to support it or whatever this year.
Ask Granny's too. The
Oh.
owners at Granny's.
Okay, I could ask them
Maybe
too.
ice cream.
And I paid them. But I must have paid them back whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
See what. Yeah, I'll ask around and see what,
CO Treats, we did a $5 gift
Oh,
card.
thank you.
And then I think boba was like, we figured out like a certain size drink was like, and it was like a certain size drink.
got it.
Grammy's donuts.
Huh?
Grammy's donuts.
Yeah. How much are they for?
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I'll ask around and see what they say. Perfect.
Okay.
But,
Kids asking.
yeah, I can shoot off a list of the parks we're gonna use in the clues and, if I just come up with like a
Those are
6
ones from
word
last
thing to
year.
throw on the back of them again.
Well, and I think some of them we could reuse.
Some of it have to be reused, you can just with a different clue.
Yeah.
Mhm. Oh, wow, I have the first one on here. Hmm. Maybe we just go back to year one. But like the park wasn't built in Cascadia Ridge last year when people went up there. So that's new. Like the land was there.
The
The
playground.
playground was not.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. The first year by December 22nd, we had 42 people complete it. So more people did it year one than year two. I don't know what the end was, but I just opened that and saw.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I can come up with a list and shoot it off and then we can figure it out, like whether we do next meeting or not, it's not too hard of a thing to figure out, so, yeah. Yeah, should be all good. Yeah, that one should be easy together, so, yeah, we'll keep it on for now, and then, do we want to change the meeting time going forward?
5:51.
Ah,
6,
6 o'clock would be good. I mean,
that-
a lot of people don't want to come in at 7 because it's too late.
yeah,
6 o'clock would be good, because that's like, I had to change my doctor's appointment today. So. And doctor's appointments right now is a pain.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That's why this
Yeah.
dentist appointment wasn't
They
originally.
they call
like
and
that.
says,
We
well,
looked
my
at
foot's
that.
doing fine. I don't need to come in.
yeah, I think 6 is a good time.
6?
Yeah,
You guys
Does
good?
that
It doesn't
work?
matter to me.
Karen, does that work?
Okay, yeah, we can start doing 6.
That's easy.
do we need to make it official? I move to move our meeting time to 6 PM.
Second,
Everyone in favor?
Aye.
Perfect.
That's what we need to do.
Do we want to meet next month or?
I mean, I think the main thing is the SDCs. I think if we can figure that, we're obviously gonna do. We got some things that are happening. There's the trick or trot. Questicatus is gonna happen at the same time and not really a lot to chat about once those happen. I think if we figure out the SDCs thing over email and keep the city email in that thread, then we probably don't need to meet.
We also have a candy cane hunt.
We do have the candy cane hunt.
There's both of those things too.
That
It
one
could
good.
be a very quick meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah, it could be just those two.
that's true.
If we did that, I would suggest maybe not the 22nd. Could we bump it to the 29th a week later?
Essentially, the planning commission is here. Yep.
Okay, because I say the 22nd, being the night before Thanksgiving would be a little, I mean,
I
Judy's
won't
not
be
gonna
here.
be here and that is just busy.
Yeah,
It's not a good time.
I prefer not to meet on that night.
11 work. We'll get 'em
so
in.
small agenda on the 29th.
If we could do a really short meeting on the 29th, I think it'd
Okay.
be easier.
Yeah. I'm cool with that.
And
Does work.
then saying that we're gonna email things. 'cause I
November
just-
20,
Me too. I agree.
Perfect.
November what?
We'll do the 6 o'clock on the 29th. We'll just talk about the SDCs and the
Candy
candy
cane
cane
hunt.
hunt.
That's fine.
Perfect.
And then skip December,
See you December.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
because I won't be here.
December.
Yeah.
December's just too busy.
Yeah, all good. Perfect. Then, yeah, we'll be back in January and call it good. Perfect. Anything else?
Yes.
What you got?
So remember Jesse Care from Arts Commission came
Mhm.
Yes.
in it, and we were, we are invited to their December meeting. Because they want to, for Arts in the Park, which is our purview, they want to be part of it.
Mhm.
And then, as she mentioned, there are some overlapping efforts that would make sense to merge, and there's just a few things that like both commissions are doing where it makes sense that it makes sense for us to help each other out because it's like, it's our jurisdiction, so might as well just like join forces.
Yeah.
So the goal of the December meeting would be to suss out how Arts in the Park is going to work with the two commissions working together, and also to possibly form a subcommittee. So just like a couple of members from each commission would make a subcommittee that can get into the details on planning events and just keeping the line of communication open about like initiatives that we're doing to see if we can help each other out.
Got it.
When is that meeting?
It's sometime in December.
Do
I
you
don't
have
know.
the calendar, Terry?
Okay.
At what time?
And that's also my birthday.
Ooh.
Nice. I think I was CC'd on an email that actually didn't go to email I actually have anymore. It
Yeah.
forwarded to me.
Right.
Because I think it went to, it's what is like at American Steel or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to just forward it to the Belomo at the Estacada City.
Okay.
email.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I don't really know anyone whose city investigator email address actually works other than like that it's on the commission.
I actually have access to mine. So if you want to forward it to that one, that'd be perfect.
Do I have one of those?
People, I've been emailed though, I think Brent forwarded it
Yeah.
to me. Goes to him.
What
Yeah,
ti-
and then Brent.
What time
emailed
is
it.
the Arts Commission meeting?
The 6th.
Okay.
Where is it at here? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were talking about, I don't know, you guys, they're talking about like doing the signs with the poetry.
Mhm,
So actually, I was in up in Friday Harbor,
mhm.
and they kind of did the same thing, but instead of like putting them like on like poles and stuff, they actually incorporated it into like the plant beds. Like they had like it was just like a 2x4, but one of those rot resistant ones, and they had a plastic panel on top of it, and it had like local poetry or whatever on it. So I actually sent that to her to think
Yeah.
about that, because she can incorporate that into like the plants, the parks, that type of thing.
Yeah,
So,
because even that, like something like that is something that I would put on as one of the missions on Questacada.com. Like,
Yeah.
it's a no brainer. Like,
perfect.
and one more thing, I had to leave early last time, and so did we find anything else out about the water treatment plant proposed location?
It's gonna be,
Yeah. So what did
gonna be at the portal, right?
yeah.
Mhm.
So it's
It's above like our,
It's that lot across from
Right.
where it is right now. That's what I heard.
Mhm.
yeah, because what the email that you forwarded to
Right.
me from Melanie,
I haven't
she
seen any specific design plans yet.
it was pretty much
Yeah. A few years down the road.
Council hasn't seen anything yet, so I can't.
Was the
give you any
reason just that
information.
is easiest,
This one
or
doesn't
like,
look like this one.
We went over it last meeting, but if you go to the Estacada website, it gives you like a breakdown that everything that the city of Estacada and the council went through, and we initially did not, like, everybody did not want to be in the park. We wanted to move out of Timber Park.
Yeah.
And we
Good.
looked at other locations, and either because of cost or legal issues with zoning with the county or property, we ran into some staff with community members, sort of the not in my backyard situation. We just kept running into roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. And so we had to bring it back to the park, and that was after 2 years of exploration. And yeah, it was not an easy decision for us either. But I haven't seen any plans or anything for where exactly they're going to place it. So I don't know.
is this just an expansion on the existing one or a replacement? Because
No,
the
it's a
existing
big
one's
complete
also, it's right
replacement.
there.
It's, I think, yeah.
Yeah,
the
and some
same-
council members already went to some of the newer waste treatment plants because they have a different system in
Yeah.
regards to smell, because that's obviously everyone's big
And yeah, the new ones don't.
issue. Yeah, and they really don't produce an odor. Like you have to go inside the building to like
Right.
have that smell. So that will definitely be good. And they're also looking at ways where they can sort of camouflage and hide the plant with, you know, various trees and things like that. Cause I think they want to try and set it back. So, but yeah, I don't know exactly where it's going.
You know,
Can
if
we
they're
build a
looking at
park
the
on top of it?
Go down River
But
Mountain,
just for-
looking at the
just for-
Stack 'em up like cordwood.
county
That will be where the
SDCs,
people go.
But, but like just for our purposes, I asked Melanie about it and it was, the final decision was made for the location of the facility and there's no opportunity to reconsider like the location, that type of thing. So that's pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, and we're kind of, I mean, the city is kind of up against the clock too. I mean, and deal, you know, with grant money, things like that. So, I mean, we just,
You got the grant.
we tried. We really did. So,
As long as it doesn't smell like the one does now.
yeah, I think that'll be fine, but
That's even in the winter, it starts to smell.
yeah.
But yeah, so.
Yeah, I just wonder if the old one's decommissioned or something, is it still going to exist and this will be a second one or is?
It's,
To-
they're gonna have something going on it.
I think it's a whole new, facility.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Right.
Options for that. But yeah,
yeah.
No, my husband
I mean,
doesn't
that's
have
definitely more palatable if it's just like,
yeah.
I mean, if we still get the area.
Yes, yeah, you still get that area.
She did mention that like potentially the Lakeshore Trail might remain intact for it, that trail
Right.
that's there too.
Right,
That may remain intact and then I know Sean was saying that they were potentially thinking like they could potentially use the old wastewater plant for like the splash pad because it has all like the water drainage and that stuff too.
yeah,
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So
just as long as the water's different.
yeah,
Well,
yeah, right. So I mean, I think they're hopefully we could use it for some sort of recreation area, but yeah, I think it's more about potential.
Yeah.
Yeah,
children.
it definitely has the drainage, so.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah, you know, that, I think that'd probably be a decent spot, at least, you know, it'd be a louder thing kind of off to the side and
Right,
still be near the
yeah,
park. But
yeah, that's the thing, even, I mean, one thing to consider is that if we did end up having a splash pad or park there, people who live across the river or across Estacado Lake would be able to hear it. Versus if we did have a park in the, closer to the highway, it's not gonna bother anybody, you know.
yeah, but, fair, yeah.
Right.
Cool.
It might be a win in the end.
Anything else? Got anything? Shirley, all good?
We're good.
Yeah, I just trying to get my husband to turn off my stove.
Perfect. Okay, I
Oh,
think we adjourn the meeting then.
I have a question.
Oh.
I'm sorry. The concrete that needs to be fixed on the
park.
on the park, is that being dealt with? Because they only have a year, and if it's not fixed within a year, we pay for it. It's cracked where what they did with the gazebo, they laid it down and they didn't put the seams in it. So when they put the table on it, it caused it to crack.
I did mention that they had a few cracks throughout but I don't know if they're actually gonna do any, I'm not sure what they said, if they were
Yeah.
thinking about it.
Oops. Just a minute.
Yeah, so right,
Turn off the oven, I'll be back.
Necessarily
Uh,
anything, but yeah, checking with Melanie probably.
oh yeah, I would just say, cause the section is right in front of the new rec center, or
Yeah.
the building.
Yeah.
Like most of it's fine, it's just they put big sheets of concrete and it's already it is buckling and it's cracked pretty much up and down the whole thing, so. If
and
they wanted to take a look at that, but
And then the back fence by close to the Whispering Pines is open. It hasn't been closed back or somebody took it apart and I'm watching homeless go back in there. Okay.
yeah, I can shoot an email to about
Okay,
that,
good.
yeah. Cool.
Also, we didn't have to use it.
No, thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right.